Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, the United States and China reach landmark agreement to slash import tariffs, a move expected to strengthen the US dollar and undermine recent gains by the Ghana cedi. Also coming up this afternoon, S&P raises concerns over Ghana's high debt servicing costs despite upgrading credit rating to CCC Plus with stable outlook. We'll make sense of all these stories coming up. Don't go anywhere. And that was a look at the currency market as we begin a new week. Let's start off with this. The United States and China have reached a landmark agreement to slash import tariffs, easing tensions in their prolonged trade war, a move expected to strengthen the US dollar and undermine recent gains by the Ghana cedi. Whilst current exchange conditions remain favorable, Standard & Poor's forecasts continued depreciation of the cedi from the second half of 2025. That's what we're also watching for you this afternoon. Joining me on Zoom, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Williams Paper. Good afternoon to you. So is this deal an end to gains chalked by the cedi in recent weeks? How do we expect the dynamics to change on the Forex market following this deal?
Good afternoon, Daryl. Good afternoon to your viewers. As we all know, Trump had an intention to make sure that he brings back manufacturing into the US, and he started this trade war, noticing that he may have to adjust his plan. This trade war led to a weakening of the cedi, of the US dollars, and in turn, that is why we've seen the confidence that the cedi have gained in this short period to have about 9.6% appreciation. What is really important for us as Ghana is that in the half year, we still have to be very careful because we are not yet out of the woods yet. These gains can be suffer, or we may see a reverse into a little bit of depreciation of the cedi because of the high debt servicing that we have to pay. We know we have to pay huge sums of debt servicing in 2025 and 2026. Ghanaians, we also have an intention that the moment we see the dollar weakening, we start to import. So we may have the imports, high importation, also going to worsen the situation. And so the cedi is very volatile as compared when we compare it to the US dollar. So this is something that the slightest weakening or strengthening of the dollar see a high volatility or up or down movement of the cedi. And as we've seen the US dollar weakening, that has caused a major sharp strengthening of the cedi.
Sure what's going on with your camera, but we can't see you, Prof. So if there's anything you have to do, we'd love to see your face. Now, I also want to bring up the Standard & Poor's focus of depreciation of the cedi in the second half of this year. How do we reconcile what is happening to their prediction for the second half of this year?
I mean, if you look at the fundamentals, theoretically, this kind of volatility in the Ghana economy, where we've seen the cedi strengthening, is slightly against what the theoretical calculations using both the interest rate parity and purchasing power parity formulas. We see that in Ghana, we still have our structural challenges. We have not turned our economy around. This high public debt is still hanging. We have not intensified our exports or to diversify our exports. So this limitation is going to play in the second half of the year until probably we're able to work on the external pressures, what we need. We may see a reverse where the cedi will start depreciate again. So these are the major elements that really limit Ghana to have a sustained exchange rate regime where we'll be able to sustain this kind of appreciation. If not in the second half, if the government is not more disciplined, we may see the cedi devaluing. We may have to improve or do diversify our export and do more exports. I'm hoping that the gold ball strategy is going to bring in a lot of foreign currency to mitigate these pressures that we are expecting in the second half of the year. We cannot bank our hopes on cocoa, maybe because we know the situation in the cocoa industry in Ghana. The fact that there's not too much yield for us to sell. Our only hopes is on the gold. So that is why the second half looks a little bleak for us as Ghana.
Right. Standard and Poor's also raising concerns about our high debt servicing costs, possible overruns with spending, despite revising our credit rating to CCC plus with a stable outlook. What does this mean?
The CC plus, we were default, but so the moment we start making initial some payments, it moves us into the CCT plus. So what they are always trying to say is that if the government is going to be disciplined and be able to make sure that we have the needed foreign currency to pay for our loans when they are due, then it is going to change the ratings. At the moment, they are just watching that government will not default in any of the loan repayments. And what this really means is that they're also watching our foreign reserves, whether we are really we will have the needed funds to pay them when they are due. So that is why our international reserve value is very, very, very important, especially the net international reserve value, not the gross. The net international reserve value is very, very important. So they are expecting the government to be more disciplined, not to embark on huge expenditures that will prevent them from making any repayment of both domestic bonds and foreign bonds, Euro bonds. Any form of default will really weakening or bring us back into default. But at the moment, we are servicing our debt, and they are cautioning us that we should make sure that we have the needed funds to pay our debt when they are due.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and your perspective. That was Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Williams, for joining us. You're watching The Marketplace. When we come back, a conversation on UNDP's MBA series and how that is empowering micro, small, and medium enterprises. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to the Marketplace. The NIMDA series, a UNDP initiative, is helping empower micro, small, and medium enterprises with practical insights and resources to drive growth and resilience. Now launched in May 2024, the series has already covered key topics like branding, digital marketing, and market expansion. While this year, the program continues with a mix of in-person and virtual sessions, starting with a focus on navigating the regulatory environment to guide MSMEs on legal compliance and regulations. In studio with me for a look ahead is Jennifer Esiako, who is UNDP Program Analyst, Gender and Human Rights. Also in studio, Adam Atto, UNDP Partnership Program Associate. And also Jemima Michael, UNDP Program Analyst. Nice to have you ladies in the studio for the Marketplace and to discuss this NIMDA Series 2025. I'm excited about MSMEs, so this excites me as well. So let's start off with the NIMDA series and what inspired its creation.
Okay, thank you. So NIMDA, as the name connotes, it's a Ghanaian language. Basically, knowledge. That's what it means. And so what brought about the NIMDA series, UNDP has an MSME integrated support program. Basically a program to support the growth and resilience of MSMEs. It has three main components. We have the component on business development support, the component on corporate governance, and also on greening your business. And so as we move along the country to build capacities on these various components, we realize that there is a huge gap when it comes to knowledge about the key things that MSMEs require in order to grow and be resilient. And so as a result of that, we decided to launch a knowledge series that would provide the needed requisite knowledge that the MSMEs need to grow.
Yeah, why the focus on MSMEs? Why are they important, or how are they important to the growth of our economy?
Well, I think that we all know that MSMEs are very critical for the economy of Ghana, not only Ghana, but in Africa and elsewhere. But in Ghana particularly, according to data from the Registrar of Companies, 92% of businesses registered in Ghana are small and medium-scale businesses. And they contribute about 70% of Ghana's GDP. And when we come to the manufacturing sector, for example, data indicates that they contribute about 85% of employment in that sector. So you and I would realize with this data how critical they are if we really want Ghana's economy to grow, especially to create jobs for the teeming youth of the country.
I mean, when you speak to small businesses, Adam, one of the things they'll say is, well, our key challenge is that we do not have money. But you realize that sometimes it's not about not having money, but not having the knowledge. So talk to us about that and what you did last year and how that was impactful.
Okay, so last year we looked into three main topics. One of the first one was on market expansion. In the climate where we have the African Continental Free Trade Area, it's important for businesses to be able to be market ready in the competitive market that we have today. The next one we did was on digital marketing. So how do you expand your business, your profile? What digital tools do you need to expand your business? And the last one was on compliance. So these are some of the things that we looked at last year. And we've got a lot of feedback from MSMEs.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear some of the, the feedback you got in terms of the impact on the operation.
So one main example I'll give, we have an MSME, and our last session last year was on digital marketing. So through this, they were able to rebrand their business, and were able to get a lot of customers. So they've been able to expand since this. I think we had this sometime December last year. So they've been able to expand. We also normally get feedback on our official channels and handles on as to the type of topics we should look into the following year. So there's been a lot of, good feedback.
Yeah, and Jemima, the focus this year is on navigating the regulatory environment. Talk to us about why this topic was chosen.
Yeah, so the sessions that we've done last year and the priority, it also focuses on the priority for the MSMEs. So regulatory some of the feedback we got from the MSMEs that we've worked with, the ones that have participated in the series, one of the things that they do not really understand is regulatory compliance. So I think it's the beginning of the year. A lot of people are trying to register their business, to grow their businesses. So this is an important discussion to help MSMEs understand why, what are the key issues they need to follow to comply when it comes to business registration, business growth and sustainability. And for this session, this is our first session for 2025. 2025. And it's going to happen next week this week, May 14th. And it's going to be in Accra International Conference Center. And the series is open to all. So it's a hybrid session. And we focus, we do not have like a specific focus. So any MSMEs in any stage, any sector across the country are all invited to participate. And we'll also have a live stream of the session. So all are welcome to join. Yeah,
I'm just curious though, is there any, specific regulatory maybe mandate for SMEs that they struggle to comply with based on your interactions with them?
Maybe to come in. So, for example, MSMEs that are into manufacturing, for example, they are supposed to get EPA license, for example. Many of them don't know. So once they register at the registrar, I can imagine. Yeah, Registrar General's department, they think that that's all. And some of these compliance is key, especially if you want to take advantage of the AFCFTA, because we want to see if you are manufacturing, how environmental friendly it's your processes that you are using, your packaging and everything, how green it is as we look at protecting our environment. But most of them did not know when we started taking them through greening your business. We realized majority of them. So you talked about impact. Some of them gave us feedback that since those interactions we've had with them, actually we did an assessment to find out how MSMEs are greening, especially those in manufacturing. We saw that the numbers were very low, and that's why we had to do the capacity building. And most of them now have the EPA license because of that. Oh, that's fantastic, because everybody's looking at greening, which is a very important topic right now. And so, Jemima started off, so it's going to start on May 14. Any SME can participate. Want us to know what the sessions will be like? You say there's going to be in-person, there's going to be virtual sessions. Yeah, so what else to expect? It's a combination. So we, in person, as she said, will be at the International Conference Center, but we'll have live streaming, so anyone can participate. What we usually do is to have the resource person come in and present, and then we open up. It's an interactive session, so that they can ask any questions that boggle their mind about regulatory environment. They would ask. So it's very interactive. We give the presentation maximum 30 minutes, and the rest of the time is for interaction. All right. So final question, what is your anticipation for the event? How can our viewers stay up to date on this event and future events as well? Okay, so for this particular event and on our social media pages, so we have UNDP Ghana on Facebook, UNDP Ghana on Twitter, and our LinkedIn pages. So currently we have the flyer for the current event where you can register to join. We also have a number that I'll share with shortly that in case you're not able to scan the QR code, you can call. That number is 050-132-3610. So in case you're not able to use that QR code, you can call this number as well. The number again is? 050-132-3610. Right. Yes. Want to say something in the last words as we wrap up? Yeah, I think we encourage all MSMEs, wherever they are across this country, to come to the NIMDA series, join online if you are not able to come physically, and you will learn a lot to move your business forward so that we can all contribute towards the growth of Ghana's economy. Well, they say knowledge is key, so most definitely. Thank you so much for passing through.
I don't know where to start from. Maybe I'll start with you, Adam Atto, UNDP Partnership Program Associate. Thank you so much for coming. Jemima Michael, UNDP Program Analyst. Also, I'm missing one name. Jennifer Isiako. You are Jennifer Isiako.
Yes.
UNDP Program Analyst, Gender and Human Rights. I appreciate that you came in studio.
Thank you
we'll be
for
following
having us.
very closely. And that's the marketplace, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
News on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We've got an explainer on the cedi why it is gaining ground. But as we've been discussing this afternoon, that might be eroded following the US-China trade deal. We'll keep watching that for you. Also, T-bills auction, government fails to meet target, interest rates fall again. Read all on that and other stories, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.